Textron Aviation responding today to a lawsuit brought against them by a group of Wichita neighbors. The neighbors live in the Forest Hill subdivision across the street from Textron's East Campus, and they say they're being exposed to toxic chemicals by Textron. Cale Chapman has been speaking with those involved and has more tonight. Cale?
Well, Rachel, we're learning a lot more today after talking with both the lead counsel representing the neighbors in Forest Hill and Textron. The neighbors say toxic chemicals from Textron Aviation's East Campus have flowed through groundwater into their area, contaminating their property and putting their health in jeopardy.
Whether you ask KDHE or Textron, it's going to take probably decades for them to clean up the mess.
Chris Nidell is an attorney representing neighbors living in Forest Hills who say they're being exposed to toxic chemicals by Textron Aviation.
Unfortunately, we have to force them to take responsibility for what it is that they've done, which is, there is a presence of their chemicals. They weren't invited onto the property. They were not welcome on the property. And they're there and they pose a threat.
Chemicals like trichloroethylene or TCE, which Dr. Alan Oberle at Newman University says can cause major health problems.
A long-term or a chronic exposure, it's definitely a known carcinogen, so the odds of getting cancer are significantly higher. It can also affect especially your liver and kidney functions.
Textron did not own the facility causing the contamination until 2014 after they bought Beechcraft. In a statement, a Textron Aviation spokesperson had this to say in response to the lawsuit. Since the mid-1990s, in close collaboration with the KDHE, Textron Aviation has performed regular monitoring and remediation activities regarding the groundwater quality in that area. Textron Aviation is in compliance with all of its KDHE approved plans and requirements regarding monitoring, testing, and remediation. But Nidell says more needs to be done for the neighborhood.
The fact that you're doing everything KDHE said doesn't mean you're doing right by the people whose properties you've affected. And they've put the devil on the front doorstep, and it's only a matter of the right conditions when those chemicals come in.
Last December, the EPA banned the manufacturing, importing, processing, and distribution of TCE in the United States. That ban was supposed to take effect back in January, but has been postponed.